Welcome into Studio AP and another edition of Morning Drive on YouTube. So glad to have you with us. Now, Justin Thomas is a winner for the second time at the Century Tournament of Champions, thanks to his playoff win over Xander Schauffele and Patrick Reed. So Schauffele was quickly eliminated on the first playoff hole, but Thomas and Reed battled it out to a third extra hole where JT won with a birdie. The win marks JT's 12th on the PGA Tour, and he has now the most victories of any active player under the age of 30. So it is time for a little bit of Tell Me I Am Wrong. Robert Dameron, you know the drill. Go for it.
All right, tell me I'm wrong. Brooks Koepka is number one in the world golf rankings. Rory did have a tremendous season last year, yet Justin Thomas is the best player in the world.
Ooh. Mm-hmm. You're wrong. Because of the guys you just mentioned, not to mention the 15-time major champion with 82 PGA Tour wins, Tiger Woods. And you've been inside the ropes with him.
Yeah.
You've seen the show.
I've seen Tiger at his best, and that was a different level altogether, but that was also 18, 17, 16 years ago.
Oh.
Tiger is really good when he's on, but the consistency is also on Justin Thomas's side.
You have been consistent about saying you feel like Rory McIlroy is the best player in the world.
Yeah.
Is this a shift in your...
I have said that his potential is greater than anyone else's, and I have said that he can hit shots that no one else can, and if he were on and reaching his potential, he would blow everyone away. Rory, yet, is Justin Thomas over the last 5 years who has won more consistently.
Closes it out more, doesn't Justin, compared to Rory, it seems.
He does, and I completely agree. Justin Thomas could well end up this year as world number one, but currently there are three solid men above him. Brooks Koepka, Rory McIlroy, and let's not forget Jon Rahm in all of this as well. 4 top twos in his last 5 starts previous to last week. I mean, his consistency was off the chart, and I know mentally he could be a little bit more fiery, a little bit more wired than the others, but again, he is someone to watch.
Just don't want Jon Rahm's fire to take over his game and to affect him in a negative way. I think sometimes fire, we see it in athletes across sports, it's fuel, and it makes you focus. But for Jon Rahm, sometimes that fire makes him implode.
I was going to say, and who has fire that comes out in the right way? And to me, that's Justin Thomas as well. And I said in the beginning of the year, I expect a 2-man race at the world number one, and that is going to be Rory McIlroy and Justin Thomas. Justin Thomas really validating my statement, I should say, by this win. I'm sure he doesn't know that that's what I said, but maybe he does. And I've been impressed with just kind of the total package that he brings to the table. He's got the length, he's got the distance, he's got the shot shaping, and he's got the mental strength, and he's getting it done in big moments with big shots. Yeah. And I know he didn't close it out in the prettiest way, but to me, the fact that he went out and he grabbed the tournament by the neck in the middle of that round, it says a lot to me.
And he's got the trophies. Yeah. Over the last 5 years, he's got 12. No one else has that. DJ, has got 11.
Right.
JT's got the most.
Yeah, no matter where you look at it, Justin Thomas has already got off to a killer start to the year. But I'm going to ask you to tell me that I am wrong. Patrick Reed will have multiple wins this year in response to the recent controversies.
I think you're right.
You're right.
Just how he's built. It's back to his college days when he was booted from the Georgia golf team, goes to Augusta State and wins back-to-back national championships at an underdog school by not dropping any matches in the match play.
And beating Georgia doing it.
And beating a bunch of studs, the Harris Englishes of the world. I mean, this is how Patrick Reed's wired. I don't love his behavior. I love his golf game. So you add fuel to his tank. He believes he's being wronged. He's being the victim. But he often turns that mentality into pay dirt.
Well, that's it. And I think most people would say that he could go on to win this year despite what has happened. But with Patrick Reed, because he just loves it so much, I truly think it will be because of.
Okay, everybody's done with their Patrick.
Go ahead.
He's going to win multiple because he is not going to win multiple. I'm going against all three of you. I don't think he will. One, he almost won yesterday. I mean, and he played fantastic, but he did it with all putter and short game. He did not hit it that good. He was very low, I think 31st in greens regulation out of a field of 34. You usually don't contend for the trophy when you do that. Also, years ago, he famously said he sees himself as a top 5 player in the world. He's a great player. He's not. There are plenty of players that will win multiple times, Tiger Woods being one, JT, Rahm, Rory, Brooks, DJ. Not knocking Reed's ability, but he's not quite on their plane. They will win multiple times, and it just doesn't leave a lot of scraps for Patrick Reed. He's not as consistent, and when he's good, and he's scrappy, and he loves the fight, but multiple win season, I don't see it.
Okay, you may argue with the multiple win, but is she right that it's fuel to his fire versus a distraction?
You know what? I think he handles it better than anyone else, and it's still going to be a distraction. We saw his caddy jumped off a cart and pushed a guy in Australia. If that happens, no player's that strong to where that's not a distraction. If they're like they yelled cheater yesterday, nobody's that mentally strong.
But then he went out there after the incident with the caddy and dusted CT Pan in singles on Sunday.
And he did make the cleanup putt here, too.
Got up and down.
Remarkable.
I'm not saying he's not more capable of brushing all this aside and actually taking a negative and making the most of it. There are players like that. Look at like Ian Poulter, who when he slided, that's when he steps up and bows up. Reed is cut out of that cloth, but there's so much to go. And again, he's just not quite as good as those other players. There's so many. How are you going to be
something
multiple
about human
winner?
nature that says, I care what people think about me. And I don't think Patrick Reed really cares.
No, and I don't think everybody does. That's why people do crazy things, because they just don't really care. And you wonder if it's not going to be a multiple win, is it going to be a winning season for Patrick Reed? Or what can you see him achieving this year?
Well, he did win the Masters a couple years ago, so it would be hard to say that this could be his best season. But it kind of could be his best season. I mean, he could play well. He could rack up a lot of FedEx Cup points and finish high. He could finish high in the world golf rankings, but there's just so many great players ahead of him. And he's never been a super consistent week in, week out, knocking on the door, and I'm just going to accidentally win a handful of them.
Yeah, interesting stuff. And I get the feeling this won't be the last time we talk about Patrick Reed
No.
So if you enjoyed today's conversation, make sure to subscribe to Golf Channel's YouTube page for more, and tune in to Golf Channel and Morning Drive every day for the latest golf news.